You know that moment. You're texting her, trying not to come on too strong, trying not to look too available, trying to say the right thing without sounding like you're trying. And then her replies get shorter, slower, colder. Or maybe you're sitting across from her in person, laughing, nodding, doing everything you thought you were supposed to do, and somehow you can feel it. She's there, but she's not leaning in. Not emotionally, not energetically, not in that way you were hoping for. And in your head it gets loud. What am I doing wrong? Why does it feel easy for other guys? Should I pull back? Should I act less interested? Am I just not enough? Is attraction something you either have or don't? Here's the truth most people never hear. A woman's desire usually doesn't disappear because you're too nice. It disappears because something in the dynamic feels off beneath the surface. You're not doomed. You're not broken. And no, this is not about becoming toxic, detached, or manipulative. If anything, it's the opposite. By the end of this video, you're going to understand what actually creates desire in a woman's nervous system, why trying harder usually pushes attraction further away, and how to become the kind of man she feels drawn to without pretending to be someone you're not. Let's get into it. Most men believe attraction is about saying the perfect thing, looking more confident, texting less, or using some clever psychological trick to make her chase. But the real truth is much deeper than that. Desire is not just visual. It's not just verbal, and it's definitely not logical. A woman's nervous system is reading you before her mind can explain you. It's reading your energy, your emotional steadiness, your self-respect, your presence. Whether you feel grounded in yourself or whether you're secretly asking her to validate your worth. That's the part most people miss. Because when a man is performing for attraction, she feels pressure. When he is trying to win her, she feels the unspoken weight of his need. And even if he says all the right things, something in her quietly registers, this doesn't feel clean. This doesn't feel safe. This doesn't feel real. And here's what nobody explains. What many men call chemistry is often just nervous system response. If she feels relaxed around you, seen around you, free around you, curiosity starts to grow. If she feels managed, chased, decoded, or subtly cornered, attraction shuts down before it even gets a chance to breathe. This is why trying harder often fails. Not because effort is bad, but because effort without emotional alignment feels like pressure wearing a smile. So if you want to understand how desire actually works, you have to stop asking, how do I make her like me? And start asking, what does she feel when she experiences me? That changes everything. 1. Stop chasing chemistry. Start creating safety. Here's the part no one talks about. Most couples, and honestly most people in relationships or dating, think desire begins with spark, with tension, with game, with mystery. But the deeper truth is that lasting attraction grows where emotional safety and aliveness meet. Not neediness, not over-pursuit, not fake indifference, but a presence that feels calm, clear, and real. Because when you're overly focused on impressing her, your nervous system gets loud. You overanalyze, you rush, you start performing. And she feels that before she understands it. A woman can enjoy attention and still feel no desire. Why? Because attention is not the same as safety. And safety is not the same as boredom. Real safety is when she feels she does not have to manage your ego while being around you. Most couples never figure this out. They think attraction is built by intensity alone. But intensity without safety feels like standing too close to a fire. Warm for a second, exhausting after that. The disconnecting version sounds like this. Why are you being distant? I'm doing everything right here. The connecting version sounds like this. No pressure. I enjoy talking to you. And if this grows, I want it to grow naturally. Feel the difference. In one, she feels responsible for your emotional state. In the other, she feels your steadiness. And somewhere inside, her mind starts whispering, I can actually breathe around him. That's when attraction stops feeling forced and starts feeling possible. 2. Neediness is not interest. It's self-abandonment. And this is the one most men never hear clearly. Most people in relationships assume that showing more interest should create more connection. But the real truth is that when interest is loaded with insecurity, it doesn't feel connecting. It feels heavy. A lot of men think neediness looks like begging. It doesn't always. Sometimes it looks polished, funny, charming, overly available, always texting first, always agreeing, always shaping yourself into whatever seems most desirable. But here's what's happening beneath the surface. You're abandoning yourself in real time, hoping she'll reward you with attention. And women feel that. Not because they're cruel, not because they want a toxic man, but because desire needs something solid to lean against. If your whole energy says, please choose me so I can feel okay, then she doesn't get to feel your presence. She only feels your longing. Most couples fall into this pattern without realizing it. One person reaches harder, the other gets withdrawn. Then the reaching intensifies. Then the distance grows. That's not random. That's a cycle. The disconnecting version sounds like this. Just tell me what you want me to be. I can do that. The connecting version sounds like this. I like you, but I'm not going to twist myself into someone else just to keep your attention. Bro, that line matters, because the first one says, my value depends on your response. The second says, I can want you without losing myself. And when you do that, she stops feeling your hunger and starts feeling your center. 3. Desire grows around a man who is present, not performing. This is where it gets really interesting. Most couples think attraction fades because people get too comfortable. But the real truth is that attraction often fades because people stop being present and start becoming roles. The pleaser, the pursuer, the cool girl, the entertainer, the fixer. Performance can create attention, but it rarely creates real connection. Because when you're performing, you're not actually with her. You're with the version of yourself you hope she'll approve of. And that always creates subtle distance. Think about it like this. Emotional disconnection is not like a slammed door. It's like fog. It creeps in quietly, through tiny moments where nobody is fully there. A woman can feel when a man is scanning the interaction instead of inhabiting it. She feels when he's calculating instead of connecting. And something inside her goes flat. Most couples miss this because the outside can still look good. The conversation flows, the jokes land, the date is fine. But beneath the surface, nobody is touched. The disconnecting version sounds like this. So, what kind of guys are you usually into? Translation, tell me how to win. The connecting version sounds like this. You seem really lit up when you talk about that. What matters to you about it? That lands differently. Why? Because now she feels your presence, not your performance. Her brain quietly registers, he's actually here. He's not just trying to get somewhere. And that's the shift. Not smoother lines, not stronger game, not pretending not to care, but being emotionally available enough to actually notice her. That's what turns interaction into connection. 4. Stop trying to be impressive. Be clear. But here's what nobody explains. Most people think desire is built by making yourself look high value. More status, more mystery, more control. But the deeper truth is that emotional clarity is one of the most attractive things in the world. Because confusion kills desire. Not always instantly, but slowly. Like scar tissue that forms over 100 small moments where someone never knew where they stood. Most couples get trapped in mixed signals because they think uncertainty creates intrigue. And yes, unpredictability can create a spike. But spikes are not the same as attachment, and chaos is not the same as chemistry. A woman may chase confusion for a while if it activates an old pattern, but she does not feel safe building desire there. Not real desire. Not the kind that deepens. This isn't about over-explaining yourself. It's not about emotional dumping. It's not about forcing a label too fast. But it is about congruence. Your words, your energy, your actions, they need to match. The disconnecting version sounds like this. I'm just seeing what happens. No expectations, no pressure. While texting every day, acting possessive, and disappearing when vulnerable feelings show up. The connecting version sounds like this. I'm interested in getting to know you. I'm not rushing it, but I'm also not pretending I'm indifferent. Man, that feels different. Because clarity lets her nervous system relax. She doesn't have to decode you. She doesn't have to protect herself from hidden agendas. Something in her starts saying, okay, this is real. And when someone feels real, desire has somewhere to land. 5. What she wants is not more intensity. It's emotional range. And here's what changes everything. Most couples think attraction is about being exciting all the time, always witty, always dominant, always magnetic. But the real truth is that desire deepens when a woman feels your emotional range without losing your grounding. That means you can be playful without being childish, confident without being rigid, strong without being shut down, warm without collapsing into approval-seeking. This is huge. Because a lot of men have been taught two broken models. Be soft and get overlooked, or be cold and get chased. Neither one creates healthy desire. Not more talking, not more controlling, not acting like you don't care, but becoming a man who can hold tension, honesty, flirtation, disappointment, and presence without fragmenting. That's rare, and rare feels attractive. Most couples never develop this because they get trapped in one emotional lane. One becomes overly serious, the other becomes withdrawn. Or one becomes emotionally unavailable, and the other spends the whole relationship trying to earn access. The disconnecting version sounds like this. She says, I've had a rough day, and you respond, well, what do you want me to do about it? The connecting version sounds like this. Come here for a second. Do you want comfort, space, or someone to just sit with you? Do you hear that? That's not a communication hack. That's emotional maturity. That's what it looks like when a man is steady enough to stay present without taking over. And her inner world starts saying, he doesn't just want my attention. He knows how to hold my reality. That's when the walls begin to come down. 6. Attraction dies in pressure. It grows in freedom. Here's the part that can sting a little. Most people in relationships think if they want something badly enough, They should push for it harder. More texts, more effort, more persuasion. But desire cannot bloom in a clenched hand. It needs space. Not distance used as a tactic, not silence used as punishment, not fake detachment to manipulate her into chasing, but actual emotional freedom. Freedom says, I choose you, but I do not need to trap you. Freedom says, I can be honest about what I feel without trying to force what you feel. Freedom says, you are allowed to be where you are. That energy changes everything. Because pressure makes her nervous system contract, even if she likes you, even if she wanted to want more. Pressure turns connection into obligation, and obligation is the enemy of desire. Most couples don't realize how often they create this. One person pulls for certainty, the other feels cornered. Then they retreat. Then the first person panics and pulls harder. That's the cycle beneath the surface. The disconnecting version sounds like this. Why haven't you answered me? If you cared, you'd act like it. The connecting version sounds like this. I like talking to you, and I'm interested, but I'm not going to force something that isn't naturally mutual. That line has dignity. That line has air in it. And when you give someone room without withdrawing your self-respect, her brain quietly registers, he's not trying to possess me. He actually feels safe. That's where curiosity starts turning toward desire. 7. The most attractive thing you can become is emotionally congruent. And this is the one that ties it all together. Most couples think attraction is about finding the perfect technique, the perfect text timing, the perfect words, the perfect strategy. But the real truth is that desire responds most deeply to congruence. Who you say you are, who you become under stress, how you handle silence, how you handle rejection, how you handle not getting immediate reassurance. That's the real signal. Because anyone can seem attractive when things are going well.
The real question is, what does she feel in your presence when life gets awkward, uncertain, or emotionally exposed? If you become defensive, needy, reactive, or performative, she feels the instability even if you hide it with confidence. But if you can stay honest without collapsing, direct without controlling, warm without chasing, and grounded without shutting down, that feels radically different. Most couples never get here because they keep looking for tactics instead of identity shifts. But this isn't a trick for making a woman want you. This is what it looks like when a man has done enough inner work that his presence itself feels trustworthy. The disconnecting version sounds like this. She pulls back a little, and you instantly switch. You get cold, dry, passive-aggressive, trying to regain power. The connecting version sounds like this. You seem a little farther away lately. No pressure to explain right now. I just wanted to be honest that I noticed. That's mature. That's calm. That's strong. And something in her may start saying, he's not punishing me. He's not performing. He's actually solid. That's not just attractive. That feels real. And real is what people are starving for. So if you take anything from this video, let it be this. You cannot force desire. You cannot manipulate someone into genuine connection. And you definitely cannot build something meaningful by abandoning yourself just to be chosen. But you can become the kind of man who creates safety instead of pressure, presence instead of performance, clarity instead of confusion,
freedom instead of control, and emotional congruence instead of mixed signals. That changes everything. Because this isn't really about getting better at attraction. It's about becoming someone whose energy no longer asks for love in a way that makes other people feel responsible for your wounds. It's about becoming emotionally available, self-respecting, and steady enough that the people who meet you actually get to feel you. And when you internalize that, you stop chasing validation and start embodying connection. You stop trying to make someone desire you and start becoming someone desire can naturally move toward. That is the shift. These aren't tips. This is identity work. This is what it looks like when you stop building relationships from fear and start building them from truth. Because the man who is most deeply desired is not the one who knows how to play the game. It's the one who no longer needs to. Real attraction begins the moment you stop trying to be chosen and start becoming someone who is fully, calmly, undeniably real. If this spoke to you, stay with this channel.
Because we don't just talk about love here. We talk about the patterns, the wounds, the nervous system cycles, and the quiet shifts that actually change your relationships from the inside out. And if you've ever felt like you had to perform to be wanted, drop a comment. Real, not performative. That's where the work starts.